A One Piece game where you can create your own character, create or join your own crew, and explore and fight on the seas of the One Piece world. That would be the perfect One Piece game for me. What's good YouTube, Red Rhino here, and today I'm going to dive deep into how a story mode will work in my dream One Piece game. This is part of an ongoing series in which I break down game mechanics and features I want in my One Piece game idea. So if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to stay updated. Okay, before we start, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, I was originally supposed to drop a video talking about the different levels of combat that would be in this game, and I was really excited to talk about it. But September was quite a busy month for me. I was studying for the firefighter exam. Yes, your boy is going to be a firefighter, best believe it. I didn't really get enough sleep, and not to mention my birthday as well. But in all of that, for some reason, I just lost the excitement for the combat video, and I found myself working on this video instead. So sorry if you were excited for the combat video to drop, and maybe I'll revisit that video again in the future, but for right now, I'm excited to talk about the story modes for this game. So you guys have been asking about a possible single player mode or story mode for this game for a while now, and I've always held it in the back of my mind because at its most purest form, this game would be online only. But growing up in a household where sometimes I didn't have Wi-Fi or internet to be able to play online games, and therefore not really being that much into online games before, I understand how frustrating it would be to have this awesome One Piece game out, but you can't play it because it's online only, or you'd rather just not deal with people's bullshit online. I totally get that. So I've come up with a few ideas, or maybe just different game modes that offline players could choose from. And I don't mean to toot my own horn or anything, but I think I kind of knocked it out of the park with my ideas for this video. We're talking about a potential offline story mode, the story mode for the online game, and even the sandbox mode. So without further ado, let's discuss the story mode in the perfect One Piece game. Like always, before we start, remember to drop a like if you liked the video, and go watch my previous One Piece videos before you finish this video to get a good idea of everything I'm talking about. So while I do want to get into the offline modes of this game, I do kind of need to talk about the story of the online mode, because I know a lot of you guys who watch my videos are thinking, well, if every devil fruit is available, then how would the owners of those devil fruits from the series be in the game? Or when does this take place in the One Piece world? And I believe I have the answers you guys will want. So for starters, this game would take place in an alternate timeline during the 2-year time skip, where everything that has happened up until that point has already happened. So Marineford, Ace's death, Whitebeard's death, Blackbeard's rise, the Straw Hat's disappearance, all that is the same and has already happened in this game. The only difference is the addition of a new original character I've come up with that pretty much brings all this video game devil fruit nonsense all together. Everyone, say hello to Dr. Charles Orchid, a legendary pirate/mad scientist. In this alternate timeline, Dr. Orchid was a rival of Dr. Vegapunk, with the two of them racing to see who could replicate the devil fruits to their fullest potential first. As we all know, Vegapunk has already been able to replicate multiple different devil fruit powers by learning about and understanding the lineage factor in all things and devil fruit users, as well as the creation of the Seraphim, who have green blood that allows them to use certain devil fruit powers. But during the 2-year time skip, Dr. Orchid, who had gone into hiding after finding out Vegapunk was employed/forced to work with the world government, had figured out the same information but decided to take his experiment to the extreme. He created microscopic insects that would fly around the world collecting DNA samples of current devil fruit users to replicate their fruits. The world government caught wind of this and assigned some Repol agents to locate and execute him. But just before they could do that, Dr. Orchid fled from his laboratory with all of his artificial devil fruits in hand and basically spread them across the world on various islands. He considered this to be the ultimate test to prove that his devil fruit research was more superior than Vegapunk's by watching over the world as different test subjects, meaning us players, take and use these artificial devil fruits to advance in the pirate world. So basically think of this game as one big science experiment where we the players, or at least those who find and eat devil fruits, are the test subjects. This way, all the characters from the series who have devil fruit powers could still make a believable appearance in portions of the online game. Let me know what you guys think of this idea in the comments. I honestly feel like this makes sense for a non-canon One Piece plot, especially for a video game, and I had a lot of fun creating and drawing Dr. Orchid, and if it wasn't already clear enough, his design and name is somewhat inspired by famous biologist Charles Darwin. So that's the plot of the online portion of the game, but what about the offline single player modes? Well, those would be pretty simple. So the offline single player mode of this game will be pretty interesting. It will basically just be the player experiencing the entire story of One Piece from how we know it. You would still create your own character, but instead of you having your own crew and having your own ship, you would be part of the Straw Hat Pirates, traveling alongside Luffy from the start of his journey to the end. You would start off as a pirate on Alvida's ship alongside Kobe, where the same events take place. You meet Luffy in the barrel, he tells you both about his dream, he helps you take down Alvida, and you join him on his boat. You would create your own character just like how you would for online mode, and you would level up the same as well. One of the biggest differences from online mode would be that there wouldn't be hockey teachers around the map to teach you hockey. You would just learn it by leveling up. And when it comes to obtaining devil fruit powers, the player will be able to choose one of 5 options at a certain early point in the story, kinda like picking your starter at the start of a Pokemon game. 4 of these options would be devil fruit powers made exclusively for the game. The first of these being the Kumo Kumo no Mi, or the Cloud fruit, a paramecia type devil fruit that will allow the users to conjure up clouds that can be used as platforms to stand on or jump on, as well as flying for a limited time. Next is the Juju no Mi, or the Ten fruit, another paramecia type devil fruit that will allow the users to create up to 10 weak duplicates of themselves to assist them in battle, kinda like Shadow Clone Jutsu but for One Piece. Next is the Yaki no Mi, or the Goat fruit, a zone type devil fruit that will allow the users to transform into a goat or goat human hybrid. And lastly, the Neku no Mi model lion, a zone type devil fruit that will allow the users to transform into a lion or lion human hybrid. And the final option would be to not have any devil fruit power at all. Choosing this grants the user hockey at a lower level. Now you may be wondering, why these specific abilities? Well, I chose these abilities because they are each related to the Straw Hat Pirates in some way. The Cloud fruit is a reference to Nami's affinity for the weather, most specifically her control of Zeus. The 10 copies fruit is a reference to there being 10 Straw Hat crew members. And the Goat and Lion fruits are references to the Straw Hat's 2 ships, the Going Merry and the Thousand Sunny respectively. These powers will greatly help the player on their journey with Luffy, but they wouldn't be needed to beat the story, hence the option to not pick one at all. During the story, the player would assist in fighting all the villains we see the Straw Hats face in the story, and for the 2-year time skip, your character would be sent to a new island, but you'd actually play as Luffy from Marineford, just to keep the consistency of Luffy being alone during that time. And yeah, that would pretty much be what the offline single player would look like, just you playing the One Piece story as we know it, as a member of the Straw Hat Pirates. But what about an offline mode where you just want to test things out? Well, that's where the My Island mode comes in. My Island mode will be a game mode where players will be able to play a somewhat sandbox creative mode of the game on their very own island. You will be able to customize the look and weather of the island, as well as place NPCs and enemies there to practice fighting against. This will also be where players can technically use any devil fruit they want, because you will be able to spawn fruits here and test them out. You can also invite friends here to hang out with on the island, or to practice fighting against as well. I personally think this would be a great mode because it would scratch that itch that every player will have to want to try out different devil fruit powers, while also not disturbing my devil fruit mechanic in the online mode. And that's just about it for how a story mode and the offline mode will work for this game. Tune into the next video, the final video of the perfect One Piece game series. In that video, I'll talk about certain online events that will be in the game, how I'd personally play the game, and the name of the game itself. So, follow me on Instagram at RedXRonnie, follow me on Twitter at RedXRonnie, join my Discord, we have a permanent link now, so no more expired links, they'll all be permanent from here on out. Remember to like and subscribe for more. See you in the next one, peace.